Hi, my name's Sarah, and this is my sister Katie.
And we just want to remind everybody that girls like rock too.
Today, we are talking about one of the most iconic British bands of the 90s, Blur, one of the Girls Like Rock 2 podcast's ultimate bands. Blur is definitely, Katie and I, one of the sounds of our childhood.
Yes.
Our brother was a big fan of Blur, and it was Blur was played on rotation a lot in our house.
Yes.
I have an emotional attachment to their music, and I have to say, for me, Blur really got me into music. And Blur and Oasis, for me, they were like my gateway bands. They got me into wanting to get into the history of British rock music. And thanks to Oasis and Blur, I got into the Smiths and the Stone Roses, the Cure, all of that as a teen. So, Blur hold a special place in my heart. Definitely. So today's episode, the title is Blur Beyond Song 2. If you're from North America and you don't really know Blur, you know Song 2.
Everybody knows Song 2.
Song
Woohoo.
2 was massive.
Yeah.
Song 2 is a great song. It is. But Blur are so much more than woohoo.
They are. They are.
So today we are going to go on a musical journey of Blur. We're going to go through all of their albums. Blur have 9 full-length studio albums.
Impressive.
And so if all you know is Song 2, if you hit the clubs in the early 2000s, you might know Parklife and Girls and Boys.
Yeah.
They were kind of minor hits in North America. If you happen to be from the UK, you will probably know all of these songs and all of these albums. So join us on a musical journey, a trip down memory lane, perhaps.
Yes.
And here's 2 Canadian millennial women talking about Blur.
Yeah.
So
They're a solid
enjoy
band.
that. Yeah, they are a solid band. To give a little bit of context, Blur got together in the late 80s, I think like 1988 in like Essex area of England with 4 band members. You have, of course, Damon Albarn, Graham Coxon, Alex James, and Dave Rowntree. Impressively enough, like 30, 40 years later, it's still the same 4 guys.
Yeah. I was going to
That's
comment
amazing.
that it's pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah, and
Graham left for a short bit.
Graham left for a bit. Yeah, there is one album where Graham's not really in it. But other than that, all 4 of them are in the band up to 2023. And I've been reading, in preparation for today's episode, Graham Coxon's autobiography, and he met Damon. They were like teenagers.
Yeah, I read that.
That is crazy. Like, talk about a life journey together. Like, they must sit back and have a beer together and be like...
They've literally been through it all
like,
together.
Literally, yeah. They're like music brothers. Yeah. It's crazy. So as I mentioned earlier, Blur have 9 full-length studio albums. They do have some live albums and best of compilations. Today's episode, we're just going to focus on the 9 albums. Mm-hmm. I took a deep dive into Blur this week. I listened to all 9 albums in order twice.
Beginning to end of each album?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive. I just put them on shuffle for a bit on YouTube Music and
Nice. Yeah.
listen to that.
Yeah. No, I highly recommend you do this for Blur. It's really, really cool. I have a pretty long commute for work too, so I did.
That's true. That's true.
I did do it on my drive to work.
Yeah.
I actually recommend doing that for any band, really. Going in order, it's a really neat experience, and you literally go on that musical journey with the band.
Yeah.
And I really felt that this week. I got emotional and sentimental listening to Blur this week.
Yeah? Any tears shed?
No tears, but...
but just thinking back to our childhood.
Yeah. Like Sunday, I'm like transported back 8 years old in the playroom.
Yes, because I remember our brother, this was back with dial-up internet. So you couldn't get a full video because I would literally take like 2 weeks. But he had like a 30-second snippet of Sunday. And I remember him showing us, being like, "Oh, there's this cool band from England, Blur."
Yeah, that's a good point.
I remember that's what I think of with Sunday.
Yeah, I remember, like you said, a snippet of the video.
That's probably what you're thinking of that moment.
Exactly. Oh, crazy. So the albums span, they're 9 albums, 1991 all the way to 2023. A couple of breaks in between, of course. And Blur have sold almost 7 million records worldwide. Of course, over half of that is in the UK, but pretty impressive. A more relevant, maybe statistic is Blur have 10 million monthly listeners on Spotify. I'm not gonna lie. As a Britpopper and a big Blur fan, I was surprised by that number.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Other Britpop bands don't have that number, of course, other than Oasis. And congrats to Blur. They have hit the 1 billion club. Song 2 has over 1 billion streams. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. It is. That's a lot. Not a lot of videos reach the actual billion club.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, that was a song on Spotify.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get into the albums, our musical journey of Blur here.
Yeah.
I want to preface this conversation by saying there's no bad Blur album. I can honestly say that.
You honestly feel that.
I honestly feel that. Yeah. I felt listening to all of them this week. It's hard though for a big band such as Blur to look at an album on its own and not compare it to other albums of the band.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really tough to do that, especially with Blur because they have like that one iconic album, but I listening to them this week, there was no, some of course are better than others. And I have my personal favorite, but they were all good albums. So we'll start with 1991 Leisure. Going back to post Britpop days, this is kind of feels like the really early beginnings of Britpop. A little bit of a commercial success. I think it peaked at like number 7 on the UK charts.
Okay.
A couple of singles that were decent. It's a good album. Not their best. It's no Definitely Maybe in terms of a debut album. I know Damon said this is one of his least favorite Blur albums.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's a good it's a good album. I recommend listening to it if you have a long drive to work in the morning. It will really wake you up. It's a great oh man, I got to go to work album I found. They're not kind of figuring out their identity, not really sure yet where exactly they're going. Although in their defense, I think English rock music at that time was a little bit like, okay, where do we go after Stone Roses, Manchester? Britpop's not Britpop yet. Yeah. So they're still kind of figuring things out, but it's a good album. It's a good debut album.
Yeah.
And I think Leisure, what it did was it put Blur on the map as a band to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And if you're going to check out any songs on Leisure, I would go with the 2 big singles. She's So High, There's No Other Way.
There's No Other Way. It's such a catchy little ditty.
It is. Loved them as kids, and they're still bangers. Classic. Yeah. Blur have 3 albums, and they're known as the Britpop trilogy. Modern Life is Rubbish came out in 93, and this is when Blur really established themselves more in that Britpop groove, musically, lyrically as well. Damon, his satirical kind of commentary on social life. As a kid, I just liked these songs because they were catchy, they were poppy, a good drum beat.
Yeah.
I thought the guys were cute in the band. Yeah. But you listen to the lyrics now and it can get pretty deep, almost kind of dark. Some of his commentary on just the mundaneness and kind of depressingness of your 9 to 5 job. I noticed that. But Modern Life is Rubbish. It did pretty well commercially. Blur are a fantastic singles band. They got some great singles. Modern Life is Rubbish has For Tomorrow, Chemical World. I can't remember the other one. So this is when they really established themselves as a band, I think.
Yeah.
And especially in the Britpop era. This is just the beginning of the Britpop, and I really like Modern Life is Rubbish. It's got an energy to it. Yeah. You can feel it, England in the early 90s, in the band as well. It's a great album. For honorable mentions on the album, I would go with For Tomorrow.
That's probably my favorite Blur song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
so catchy
Yeah,
and
it's
just
such a good song.
and just even the use of horns and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, they
very
did
well
that
done
well.
song, and
It is. It is.
it just makes me want to go to England. When I listen to
Yeah.
Blur, I just want to go to England.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the
Yeah,
Britpop effect, right?
yeah,
And Blur
that
did
really
that
is a
so
Britpop
well.
effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can like picture yourself walking around London
Oh yeah.
with that song. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. And another one I would highly recommend from this album is Advert. It's the second song on the album. It's not a single. So good. It's got like a Britpop punk vibe. Highly recommend. So now we move on to, I feel like we should put a drum roll to Parklife
Yes.
from 1994. This is one of the, I would say, most iconic albums of the 90s.
Yeah.
It's just Blur at its Britpop peak.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Every song. I put this on. Actually, I recommend listening to this song when you're like done work and you're like, oh, thank God I can drive home now. Put this on and you're just ready. You're like, work is done. I am ready for my evening, or I am ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
It just gets you going. Listening to this on my way home, I knew every song.
Yeah. Parklife is one of the few Blur albums I actually know all the songs to, not just the main ones.
Yeah, yeah, I knew every song. And it's funny, as a kid, Katie and I grew up, we were kids in the 90s, quite young when all of this was big. So internet wasn't what it was today. No social media. We lived in a rural area. We did not have cable.
No.
I thought Blur were like really big.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah.
But then now I'm looking back, I'm like, they weren't that huge in North America.
No.
This maybe did raise them a bit to global fame, but not really. But I
No.
thought they were like huge.
Yeah.
But this is like an iconic. This is a great album. The music, the commentary. If you're going to listen to one Blur album, I would recommend Parklife.
Yeah.
Every song is great.
Yeah.
If you're going to listen to one Britpop album, I would recommend Parklife.
Yeah.
It just summarizes mid 90s excitement of British music and culture so well.
Oh, it bleeds British culture, this album.
Yeah, it really
Even
does.
the guy talking in Parklife.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I didn't do my research. I don't know if he's someone famous, the man in Parklife who does the talking.
I would imagine.
But
I
that's
don't
it's
know.
just so British. I love it.
Yeah, they just did that so well. It's a huge departure from like any sort of American grunge music.
Oh, yeah.
Just so good and just so unique in their sound. It was different. It wasn't Suede, Pulp, or Oasis.
No.
It was Blur. You know, every song on this album, it is Blur. And the cover's iconic.
Yeah.
I think they made it into a stamp.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did a few in the UK, of course.
Yeah.
They did a few iconic albums, and this was.
Oh, funny. I
one
didn't
of
know
them.
that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, years ago. The third to this trilogy is from '95, The Great Escape. Similar themes and sound to Parklife and Modern Life is Rubbish. Good album. It did well commercially, received a lot of positive reviews. Again, bangers for singles. Blur are known for that. My two highlights would be two of the singles, The Universal and Charmless Man.
Charmless Man is good. And
Yeah.
again, kind of what you were saying before. When you listen to it as a kid, you're like, oh, it's a catchy song, whatever. But as an adult, you're like, this is kind of a dark song.
It is.
Yeah.
I had that with Tracy Jacks.
Yeah, that too.
I loved that song. And then you read the lyrics, you're like, whoa. And like Damon Albarn's like in his early 20s.
Yeah.
You know, making this this music. I'm like, ooh, dark, like kind of dark.
Yeah.
Satire, really.
Yeah.
The Great Escape, as I mentioned, I stand by it. There's no bad Blur album. Personally, I prefer Modern Life is Rubbish and Parklife. I just think Modern Life is Rubbish has this youthful energy. Parklife hits its peak. I find with The Great Escape, it's good. It's a good album. But maybe they're just getting a bit tired of that sound. I found a bit.
Well, and that's ambitious to come out with 3 albums 3 years in a row.
Oh yeah, that's true. That
You
is
know
a
what
lot.
I mean?
Yeah,
Like by the third one, like
That's a good
You
point.
didn't even really have
Yeah.
time to
like,
sit and think. So
yeah.
I'm not
So
saying it can't be done, but you're gonna run out of ideas.
that's a really good point. Yeah, and I just found it was a little. Yeah, they just feel maybe a bit tired, but still good. And that's the Britpop trilogy.
wow.
Yeah. We move on to 1997, so post Britpop, self-titled album Blur. This is my favorite Blur album. For
It's a good
me,
one.
yeah, for me, this is Blur. I got this for my 12th birthday. I was
remember
I was
that.
turning 12 and I got this, and it just made me really appreciate Blur as a
Yeah.
band. I really liked this album. And at 12, and I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, when you really start developing your own musical identity, and I this got me into music, and I got very sentimental listening to this album this week. It's so good. Every song is really good. And Blur are a band. Britpop was so huge. Blur were really boxed into Britpop. They could have been just boxed into Britpop. But I find with this album is they were like, no, we are good musicians. We're going to develop as a band.
Yeah.
And they did it. And they broke out of that Britpop mold.
They did.
They did with this album. It's it's often described as like lo-fi alternative, and it is.
It is. It definitely has an alternative vibe.
Yeah,
Especially when
yeah.
I think of Song 2 and Beetlebum.
Yeah, exactly. This album catapulted Blur to international fame, largely because of Song 2.
Yeah.
Song 2 is the second song on this album, and that was huge. Even here in
Yeah.
Canada and North America,
Yeah.
that was massive. It's a good song, but I'm going to sound like one of those. I don't think it's Blur's best work.
No.
Even on this album, I would recommend other songs other than Song 2, but it was, I think, commercially their most successful album for all 9 albums. As I mentioned, it's got a raw energy to it, a huge diversion from their Britpop phase.
Yeah.
And so good. And there was a lot of worry that this album wasn't going to do well because it was such a new direction for them, opposed to their Britpop albums. And I was reading an article, and it noted that there was worry that they were going to alienate their teenage fan base, and primarily teenage girls. Like, they wouldn't like this. So
Because it's not cutesy, bouncing around bit
yeah,
pop.
I guess so. There was worry about that from, I guess, record labels, whatever. And I just want to say, I was a 12-year-old girl listening to this album, and I really enjoyed it. Teenage girls can handle it. We're not we're not fickle. We're not sitting on our beds just listening to the Backstreet Boys and Five. I genuinely enjoyed this album.
Yeah.
So that just kind of annoyed me.
I know. Yeah.
But kudos to Blur. This did really well. And if you're going to listen to 2 Blur albums, I would suggest this one along with Parklife. And all songs are good on this, although an honorable mention would be You're So Great.
That's such a good song.
Such a good song. It's so beautiful.
It is.
And it's the first song Graham wrote and sang for Blur.
Yeah. And he does a good job.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's a great musician. 99, Blur came out with 13. Commercial success. I think it hit number 1 on the UK charts, and it was like their 4th or 5th consecutive album to do so. Great singles: Tender,
Yeah.
No Distance Left to Run, Coffee and TV.
Coffee and TV. I like
Coffee
that
and
one.
TV. Yeah.
Tender, I really liked.
Yeah, good songs. Similar, more of a raw development from their self-titled Blur in 1997. Deep, I know at this point, I think Damon was breaking up with Justine Frischman, and I would imagine they were a pretty hot couple back in the day, so that was probably flashed in the news quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Graham was going through some mental health challenges at this time, so you can really feel that on this album. It's a solid album. It's been described as like a piece of art, which
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, very raw. It's good. I would recommend Coffee and TV and Swamp Song. Think Tank, 2003. Good album, more of an electronic vibe, definitely.
Yeah.
And
Definitely experimental.
very, very experimental. I guess this was, you think of the time of like Kid A came out in 2000. So
Yeah.
kind of these Britpop bands experimenting more with their sound, which is understandable. developing, getting older themselves, going through some stuff. This this album is the one album where Graham is not really in it. Damon wrote most of it. I think Graham was going through a lot of substance challenges, mental health challenges. I think he went to rehab during this time and shortly disbanded after this album, like left the band, sorry. Highlight on this album is a good song. You probably know it. It's a bit of a slower beat.
I was going to say a little bit of acoustic, slower beat. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's good. Crazy Beat's good too. This album, before this album, in between 13 and Think Tank, Damon was in Gorillaz.
Yes.
And you can hear that a bit in Think Tank.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Influence,
Yeah, definitely. So after this, Blur disbanded shortly after this album. I mean, it did well commercially. I think they toured a bit for it. I think without Graham. Blur disbanded in 2003 with Think Tank. That was it. They got back together in like 2009 for a bit. I think they toured a bit more so in Europe. And then in 2012, they did receive the award for Outstanding Contribution to Music at the Brit Awards, which I think was very well deserved. Yeah, makes sense. Came out with another album in 2015, The Magic Whip. I didn't listen to this album in 2015. No. I wasn't really listening to Blur a lot. So I have to say, full disclosure, this week was my first time listening to this full album. But I stand by my statement of Blur don't have any bad albums. It's a good album.
Yeah. I don't know any of that album.
Yeah. I didn't know any of the singles. Definitely more of an electronic sort of vibe. But they didn't try to reinvent the self-titled Blur album from 97 or Britpop. Like, it's still a development for the band.
Cool.
Yeah, it did well commercially. I think it got good reviews. Of course, at this point, Blur have established themselves in the history of British rock music. If you're going to listen to one song from this album, I highly recommend Ghost Ship. It's not one of the singles. It is so good. It's got like this guitar riff, like a groovy electronic vibe. Really good. I put it into my playlist. I will start listening to that song now regularly. Ghost Ship. And then Blur broke up again. That's kind of the running joke. They got back together in 2023, and they have their latest album, The Ballad of Darren, released in 2023. I think it went to #1 in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it got a lot of, at this point, Blur are Blur, right? They could kind of release anything and it will probably do well because you'll have like 40, 50-year-old men being like, oh my God, it's Blur. Amazing. Same for men still in the band. Again, full disclosure, this week was my first time listening to this album, but I did listen to it beginning to end twice, maybe a bit more than that. Good album. It's got more of an indie guitar vibe. I didn't really look at the lyrics too much, but I just felt like it's like you're sitting in a cafe in Spain by the beach. It's got a really neat vibe.
Specific.
Yeah. I went for a walk last night and I listened to it.
A cafe in Spain by the beach.
I don't know if like Blur were going
now
for.
I have to listen to this now.
I recommend it's good.
Okay.
And to sum up this album, I would just say, Blur, you've still got it. It's good.
You've still got it.
Yeah. So we just went through all 9 albums of Blur quickly. I find for Blur, every album, it's very different. But what's really special about Blur is they keep their Blur sound. The essence of Blur is in every album, but they're all so different. Yeah. And Blur just do that beautifully. And some of the music of Blur, it really is timeless. And especially Parklife, of course. Yeah. As we mentioned, that's an iconic album. It really is. Blur have a lasting influence in rock music history. In 2023, they did do a tour. They did Coachella.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
what year was
they
that?
headlined 2023.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah. They played a few shows, I think, in South America and Asia. And they did their 2 sold-out nights at Wembley.
That's impressive.
Which is really impressive. Yeah. I don't know how many Britpop bands could do that.
Yeah.
Right? Blur helped shape alternative rock music of the 2000s. You can hear it in Arctic Monkeys, The Killers, Casabian. Just such an impressive history, Blur. And if you've made it this far, you're either a family member or you're really into Blur. So I curated a Blur playlist. It's on YouTube Music. I added a link below if you're listening on YouTube. And I put the songs in order that I think really flow nicely. So you don't have to worry about putting it on shuffle. Just hit play. It's songs primarily singles, but a few non-singles, and just from all of their albums to check them out. Thank you for joining us on this musical journey of Blur. Perhaps this inspired you to check out the band, or it took you down memory lane a bit. And now you can better understand why Blur is one of the Girls Like Rock 2 podcast's ultimate bands. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate your time. We post every other Friday. We are on Spotify and YouTube. And we just want to remind everybody that Girls Like Rock too.
And don't forget to hit subscribe.